I finally got around to reading Timewyrm Genesys, the very first novel in the Timewyrm series and the official launch point for the version New Avengers. This series picks up where Doctor Who left off, continuing the journey of the Seventh Doctor and Ace after the show was cancelled in 1989. I've been collecting a bunch of version New Avengers and Eighth Doctor Avengers for a while now, so I figured it was time to finally go back to the beginning and see how it all started. Now, I'd already heard the warnings people call Genesys rough, some even call it bad, like me. So I went in with low expectations and somehow still came out surprised. If I had to describe this book in 3 words, they'd be clunky, inappropriate, and convoluted. The plot starts out simple enough, but things quickly spiral into a confusing mess. There's time travel, aliens, mythological figures, everything you'd expect from Doctor Who, but not everything works. The real issue, though, isn't the plot, it's the characters. The book is overflowing with characters, but most of them feel flat, unlikable, or just wrong. And that, unfortunately, includes the Doctor and Ace. The Seventh Doctor, usually known for his quiet scheming and moral complexity, feels strangely alien here, but not in the good Time Lord mystery kind of way. He makes bizarre choices that don't align with the version of him we saw on screen. Even worse, he's often passive and complicit in moments where you expect him to stand firm. Ace is written with this wild, aggressive streak that doesn't feel earned. Yeah, she's always been impulsive, but here she lashes out without context or emotional grounding. Instead of a layered, believable companion, we get a parody of teenage anger. But the worst character has to be Gilgamesh. The book wants us to see Gilgamesh as a noble, slightly rowdy warrior king, but what we actually get is a short-tempered, stupid, and at times straight-up gross character. He's frequently aggressive and handsy with women in ways that range from uncomfortable to flat-out appalling. And the worst part, the Doctor defends him. There's this infamous moment where the Doctor brushes off Gilgamesh's sexual assault by calling it a product of its time, even insisting that Gilgamesh is a decent man by the standards of his era. It's not just a throwaway line either. The book keeps doubling down on that defense. It never really challenges or interrogates Gilgamesh's behavior. That's not bold, that's not edgy, that's just tone deaf. And it sours the whole experience. Now let's talk about the villain. The Timewyrm isn't that interesting. Her backstory doesn't really add anything beyond what we already know. She wants power and to conquer people. That's it. No nuance, no intrigue. There is a small silver lining though. The ending hints at her becoming something stronger and more threatening later on, which might be interesting, but here she's pretty forgettable. John Peel clearly wanted to kick off the version New Avengers with something epic, grand, mythological, and ambitious. And sure, the ambition is there, but ambition isn't the same as execution. The book is stiff and overwrought, a mix of sci-fi technobabble and pseudo-epic narration that doesn't quite land. The pacing's all over the place. Some scenes drag forever, others speed through character moments with barely a pause. Every now and then you catch glimpses of a darker, more complex Doctor that the version New Adventures line would eventually become known for. But those glimpses are buried under clunky dialogue, a uneven tone, and a story that can't decide if it's a mythic epic or a standard Doctor Who adventure. Genesys is a rough start to the version New Avengers. There are some interesting ideas here, and you can see early seeds of what the series would eventually grow into, but they're buried under a story that's poorly written, morally awkward, and very frustrating to read. If you're diving into the Virgin New Adventures for the first time, I'd recommend skipping this run. Try Exodus instead. It's a stronger story and much closer to what the Virgin line was aiming for. This book is a 3 out of 10. I don't like it, and I want to forget the story.